I give the call to the honourable member for Bean.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, some 18 residents in my electorate of Bean received awards and recognition in the civilian categories of the 2024 Australia Day Honours List. I would like to take this opportunity to recognise all of them for their service to our community and country. In the Member of the Order of Australia category, 3 residents in Bean were recognised for their service and contributions. Emeritus Professor Hilton Kobus for significant service to forensic science through governance and administrative roles. Professor Kobus has been Emeritus Professor of Forensic Science at Flinders University and has held leadership positions in various forensic science organisations, such as Forensic Science South Australia, the National Institute of Forensic Science, the Senior Managers Australia and New Zealand Forensic Laboratories Group, and the Australian-New Zealand Forensic Science Society. Emeritus Professor Christian Lueck was recognised for significant service to neurology and neuro-ophthalmology through medical research and clinical practice. Professor Lueck has been an Emeritus Professor and former Chief Investigator at the Australian National University, co-founded clinical units at Canberra Health Services, and is a former President of the national body, the Neuro-Ophthalmology Society of Australia. And finally, Ivan Slavich, for significant service to business and to the community through governance and philanthropic endeavours. Ivan is a former CEO of Capital Football and Soldier On. He has held leadership positions with Service One Alliance Bank, the Canberra Business Chamber and Transact Communications, among other roles. His philanthropic endeavours include fundraising for Camp Quality and through Movember and March On. Speaker, in the Medal of the Order of Australia category, I would like to recognise and congratulate Stephanie Armstrong for her service to Indigenous health and education. Stephanie is a consultant on First Nations education and health. Stephanie has also run reconciliation committees, Indigenous health networks and Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander education programs. Vicky Brown for service to education and to the community. Vicky is a former teacher and has held leadership roles with organisations including ACT Children's Week, ACT Playgroups, Mary Mead Child and Family Centre and the ACT School Board Forum. Kira Cox for service to softball. Kira has been a national umpire-in-chief of Softball Australia and an international umpire, including at the Tokyo Olympics, and it has received prestigious awards such as Umpire of the Year from the World Baseball and Softball Confederation and Softball Australia. And David Haverley for service to the community of the Australian Capital Territory. David has been a dedicated volunteer with the State Emergency Services, the Australian Red Cross, the University of the Third Age, various community orchestras and cultural and environmental causes. Elizabeth Dawes for service to the community through social welfare organisations. Elizabeth has worked with Lifeline as a telephone crisis counsellor for 45 years. Wendy Parsons for her service to animal welfare. Wendy is the former president of the ACT Rescue and Foster Association, a non-profit association of volunteers who rescue and rehome unwanted dogs in Canberra and the surrounding region. And lastly, Roy Tament for service to chess. Roy is the president, chief organiser and passionate promoter of the Canberra Chess Club. And Speaker, I'd like to congratulate the following Public Service Medal recipients in Bean. Nicholas Husago for outstanding public service in developing and embedding the practice of facilitation services within government departments. Jonathan Kobus for outstanding public service to the Canberra and region tourism industry through the COVID-19 pandemic. Jenny Priest for outstanding public service in leading the delivery of business support grants to businesses in the ACT impacted by COVID-19. Charmaine Smith for outstanding public service to the ACT Government's COVID-19 vaccination program as just one part of a great public service career. Chantel Stratford for outstanding public service in leadership and innovation in gender equality and women's policy within the Australian Government. In addition to these fine recipients, Speaker, I would also like to extend my congratulations and recognise recipients of the Australian Police Medal, Peter Dean and Detective Chief Inspector Neil Gray, as well as the Australian Corrections Medal recipient Dean Smith for their critical roles in keeping our communities safe.
The question is the House to now